Lenovo Ideapad Miix 700 Review. Build quality. Portability is high up the agenda. Weighing only 780 grams and measuring 292 by 219 by 8.95 millimeters without the keyboard attached, the Miix 700 is just as lightweight as its most feathery rivals. It's a smidgen thicker and heavier than the Surface Pro 4, but it's noticeably lighter and thinner than HP's Elite X2. Display. Like its bigger brother, the Miix 700's display is one of its strongest suits. The 12 and 2160 by 1440 resolution screen reaches a peak brightness just shy of 400 ct/m2, and that's just bright enough to make it usable outdoors in the glorious British sunshine. It also puts in a good performance in our other tests. The contrast ratio reaches a respectable 1,036:1, and the sRGB color gamut coverage of 89% means that it only struggles to reproduce the most intense shades of color. Alt-old, it's more suited to color-sensitive work than the HP Elite X2's disappointing screen, even if it's off the pace of the Surface Pro 4. Performance and battery life. The driving force behind the Miix 700 is one of the most potent of Intel's Core M processors, the dual-core Intel M76Y75. Faced with expert reviews' tough 4K benchmark suite, the Miix 700 reached an overall score of 38, which is exactly what you'd expect for a system with these specifications. As ever, the Core M processor rarely struggles. It's lightning fast in general web browsing and word processing scenarios and only starts to struggle when you present it with sustained, intensive workloads such as video editing or hefty photo processing in Photoshop CC. Don't expect it to run the latest games at highest fidelity either. It scraped just over 30 FPS in Dirt Showdown at 1280 by 720 resolution, and that was with the graphics settings dialed right down to ultra-low. Sadly, the low-voltage processor and fanless design don't do much for battery life. As ever, the quest for a super lightweight chassis has left the Miix 700 struggling to last as long as slightly heavier Core M devices. In our battery life tests, the Miix 700 expired after 6 hours 40 minutes in our continuous video playback test. By comparison, the Surface Pro 4 lasts over an hour longer in the same test. Ports and connections. The ThinkPad X1 tablet was sorely lacking when it came down to ports and connections, and the Miix 700 is no different. You get one USB 3 port, one USB 2 port, microSD and microSIM slots, plus a 3.5mm headset jack. And unlike the ThinkPad X1's optional productivity module, which offers a little more flexibility, there's no way to expand upon the Miix 700's connectivity without resorting to third-party USB hubs.